Richard Peck, he's of Seymour, Connecticut, is a consummate professional, but most of all, he's a dear friend. He's a senior member of the network division at AT&T, where he has worked for 27 years, and he coordinates corporate summits and leads cross-functional teams in their work on technology projects. We could use him here. He earned his MBA in International Business at the University of Texas in Dallas, and he is also a certified project management professional. He has served as club president in Norwalk Kiwanis Club and as a Division 25 Lieutenant Governor for the Kiwanis International. So you see, you can actually do these roles in other organizations. Richard is a dedicated Toastmaster, and he is still a member and an active member at his home club of Nutmeg in Woodbridge, Connecticut. And he has attained his Distinguished Toastmaster Award, which is the highest recognition. And I love his philosophy and his mantra that in Toastmasters, helping an individual achieve a goal in turn helps you achieve yours. And I personally have seen him demonstrate that as he's taken a group of members to the Comcast studio, not quite, I think it was in Ansonia, to do a mock interview, including doing commercials and things like that, and breaking for commercials, and then going back to the interview. It was a phenomenal experience, and we got the DVD to show us just how well we did. So that's one of those advanced manuals over there that he personally helped many people work through. As a member of the Toastmasters International Board of Directors, he also is a working ambassador. So not just is he a member and helping District 53, but he works with a bigger picture and making sure the organization as a big picture and total is where it's supposed to be, and keeping in what we as the members are looking for and seeking. But I don't think that many of you might know there's an interesting fact also about Richard. He is a National Hot Rod Association licensed drag driver. And having received his license in 2009, Richard owns and drives an original undated safety equipment, 1963 slingshot front engine dragster. You see, I have to read this. This is all really heavy stuff. His wife, Betty Ann, is very supportive, also a very dear friend, and on occasion has served as a crew member. Wow, tough being your partner. Their dog Charlotte tries to help out as well. I think I'd stay home and take care of Charlotte. This afternoon, Richard will share with us how to fill your life with the important things. In this session, he'll show you how to focus on the things that aren't important, that impact your life, and then investigate a technique to help avoid this in the future. So fill your life with the important things by first welcoming International Director, Distinguished Toastmaster, Richard Peck.
It's great to be back in front of all of you this afternoon. I realize that lunch is probably kicking in about now. Snoring is acceptable, sleeping and falling over is not. Like I stated this morning, this is going to be more of a philosophy style class, so I know those of you who are really into philosophy are all ready to chomp at the bit and get going. But I also said this morning that there's going to be a test today, right? They panic on this end. This end's all happy about it. So, I went to the bookstore and I picked up a couple giveaway items. So the first one, the first question is for first-timers only. So those of you with the red ribbons on. Not you, Rich. No, you don't have a red ribbon on either, Eva. No. What are the 3 basic B's from this morning? I got one over here. Go ahead. Absolutely. Behind, beside, before. Thank you. Okay, I'm making it easier for the senior members who have been to more than one conference. What were the two binders? There you go. Buy in and believe. And now, open to everybody, this nice AT&T logbook, ledger, diary, whatever you want to use it for. What year did I join Toastmasters? Norm. There you go. Congratulations, Norm. See, it's always good to give back, and that's what I try to do. You spent time with me this morning. I want to give you something back. I'm going to ask for your indulgence for maybe the next 5 minutes. You see, I have this table here, and I'd like to do a visual presentation for you. It might be kind of tough for some of the outlying rows. If you have to stand or come forward, that's fine. It won't bother me. I do want to thank Don. Is Don Smith in here? Don and I had a big discussion. We decided to angle these chairs in from the side so you had a better view than this morning. So I thank Don for that. I'm going to spend about 5 minutes doing this visual presentation. And I want you to think about it as I'm doing it. I'm going to ask you a couple questions as we go. And you're going to see how it applies to filling your life with the important things. Is that okay? Everyone agree with that? Okay, excellent. Jerry, come on up here for a minute, if you don't mind. Hey, Jerry. So, Jerry, this is an ordinary pickle jar, would you say? Would you check that, make sure it's not magic? You can put your hand in there, nothing's going to disappear. Perfect. Okay, so just an ordinary pickle jar. Okay, good, thank you. Sit down, you're all set. I would have normally done that with Nana Donso because he's our local magician and, he'd have made something up here out of it, I'm sure. But I just want you to see that this is just an ordinary pickle jar. Is it full? Not of air. Is it full? No. Perfect. Perfect. I said not of air, but is it full? And the answer is no. Good. So we're moving along right like that. So I have these ping pong balls, and I'm going to put these ping pong balls into this container. They're a little noisy, Glenn. If you have to, you can adjust my microphone. I'm okay with that. No. And you'll see that as we put these in, they begin, that one I don't need, to fill up this jar, right? Now my question is, when I get the last of these in here, you know what, I'll grab that one on the floor just to top the bottle off. Is this jar full? No. Excellent. It's not full. Congratulations, you're right about that. Well, I have this nice little jar here, this container, that has pebbles in it. Now these pebbles are going to take me a few minutes, but I'm going to show you that I can pour these pebbles into all the open spaces. I'll give it a little shake, make sure they all go down, but I can fill the remainder of this jar with pebbles, right? Because there is a lot of open space in there, whether you realize it or not. I feel like I should be doing a ShamWow commercial up here, or Ginsu knives. But wait, there's more commercial. As we continue to fill this up, I spill pebbles on the floor. Please don't trip on them later. But the point is, as I continue to do this, is there's a lot of room in this jar that is available to you. Sometimes you have to make a few adjustments and shake things up, shake things around to get them in there. Now, I'm going to do this as quickly as possible because I don't want to waste time before I get to the presentation and you all sit back there going, Jesus, all I'm going to do all afternoon is stick pebbles in a jar? I hope not, but at the rate it's going, it may be that way. You see, this is where philosophy comes in. It takes a while to get to the point. And I'm trying. Yeah, you laugh. It's visual aids, that's right. Know your visual aids. Obviously, I knew this one. This took me 3 weeks to practice. And my wife is still picking up pebbles off the floor in the kitchen. She's not really happy. The dog liked the ping pong balls, though. She chased them around quite often. That led to a whole medical story for later on. Everyone's getting the jokes. See, they're not asleep yet. I'm doing good. All right, so we can see now that we're starting to fill this jar up, right? Other than the ones I've spilled on the table. Almost there. Would you say that this jar is full? No, it's not full. That's right, it's not. Why is it not full? Oh, there's more room in there. That's right. So I'm going to go to this little bucket here, and I'm not going to play with this bucket all day because this will really take too long and you'll really get tired and start falling asleep. But this has got fine sand in it. And you'll see that I can pour the fine sand into the jar, and it's going to go down and fill up all those gaps, right? It's going to fill it all the way to the top if I stay here long enough. For the sake of brevity, would you all agree that I will fill this jar with the sand and jar will be full at that point? Well, technically no, because any liquid that goes into it will fill it up. But we're not going to worry about the liquid right now because I don't have any to pour in there because then we'd be here way too long. What do you think when you look at that jar? What comes to mind to you about the way this is filled? Overwhelmed. It could be. Let me ask you this. If I filled this with sand first, can I put anything else in it? No, right? The sand takes up everything. Water. Can I put anything other than water in here? No. Okay. So I knew there was going to be that piece of this, and we're going to get to why that jar is so important. I would ask if you could turn that switch off right behind you on the wall. I'm going to turn this chandelier off. Perfect, thank you. To help with the screen because it's a little bit too close to that chandelier. So I want to talk to you about filling your life with important things. We are faced with 100 things every day, and we need to figure out how to prioritize them, what's important, what's not. Unfortunately, we don't do that very well. And we tend to get caught up into the day-to-day minutia that fills up our life with sand. So let's talk about the pickle jar. The pickle jar is designed to represent your life, be it your personal life, your Toastmasters life, your career. The golf balls are the important things in life. Your family, your friends, your health, the things that you consider to be the most important thing to you. The pebbles are the next most important things. Your job, your home, your car. Now, for me, my car's probably more up towards golf balls, but right now we'll put it there on pebbles. But the next most important things to you, not the high priority things. And I'm going to show you how to evaluate what's priority and what's not priority. In the sand, that's the small stuff. We fill our jar with small stuff, we got no room for the important things, right? And that's what the purpose of the jar is all about. It's to give you a visual representation of I can fill my life with important things, with the golf balls, and throw in some minor stuff that's maybe not the day-to-day importance, and I'll be fine. But the minute I throw all the sand in there, it takes up too much space. I can't do anything else. So I figured, let me reach out to some of my Toastmasters counterparts around the world and see if I could figure out what they felt was important. So I reached out to 20 individuals around the world. I got responses from 16 of them. That's pretty good on a survey to get 75%. I felt we did good. And I asked them one simple question. I learned 2 simple rules. Toastmasters don't follow the rules, and you get more than 10 answers. So here was the question I asked. What 10 things, not in any particular order, that was important, are important to you about Toastmasters? Now notice it said these should be simple 1 to 2 word answers like networking, personal growth. There were some diatribes that I received that took up the whole page. But what I did was I looked at this list of now 160 things that were important. And believe it or not, even when I went and looked through the duplicates and things that were similar in nature, I still had 83 distinct important items. Those may be important to you and you, but not somebody else. And this is why only you can determine what's important. I get a kick out of it. I hear this, you should be concerned about that, Randy. It should be important to you. Why? Why should it be important to Randy? It should be important to me maybe, but not necessarily to Randy. So only you can figure out what's important to you. Let me show you a list, and I'm going to break the rule of PowerPoint, and I'm going to put 1,000 items on this PowerPoint screen that you won't be able to read and you won't be able to see, and that's okay, I understand that. I'm going to highlight a couple things for you, though. So this is the 83 outstanding items that I had on my list. And you'll notice, if you see it here in the lower rear corner, I know you can't see, but trust me, it says integrity, respect, excellence, and service to members, the 4 core values. So those were important to a majority of people. Yet there were these outstanding ones. So I'm going to highlight a couple that I felt were pretty interesting on what people felt were important. Whether they were a high importance or a low importance, it's up to them to decide. So first one is realizing I can be more than I ever thought. How many of you felt that being here in Toastmasters, that's important? You go into a club, you realize that you can be more than you ever thought you could be. In the back. How about this one? Laughter. If I can't laugh, I won't go to Toastmasters. That's important to that person. If they're not having a good time, they're not staying. Important to them. Let's see, what do we got coming up next? Overcoming stuttering in the corner. I mean, that's a personal growth item for somebody. The influence it's having on the transformation in South America or South Africa. And we are a global organization. Everything we do impacts the people around the world. That's something important to that person. That's a past district governor from South Africa. And the way the organization is helping South Africa transform is important to her. Giggling a lot. Seems like having a good time is very important to our Toastmasters. They like to laugh, they like to giggle. One of my favorites, next one, first of all, growth from mistakes. Safe environment. You can make a mistake, learn from it, and grow. That's cool. This one here is real cool. Contest pizza. That's nice. You know, I want to find out if that's really important because I'm going to make sure I have pizza at my contest for that individual to come to. But you can see importance is so varied. Nobody can make that up for you. Nobody can decide for you. Only you can determine what's important to you. So I'm going to ask you to take a moment and imagine this situation. You're at the end of your life, and you have the chance to give your current self advice. It's not, back when I was 4 years old, I would have told my brother to do this or not do that. It's your current self, because we're looking at what's important to you now, what your priorities are to you now. What would that advice be? What would you tell yourself now if it was the end of your days? Anyone want to offer something up? Over here, Jack.
Don't sweat the small stuff.
There you go. Don't sweat the small stuff. I'm done. I don't have to finish this. Sir? Slow down. No? Eva?
Be grateful every day.
Be grateful every day. John?
Enjoy the people around you.
Excellent. Jackie? Go home. Give me 10 more minutes. I'll wrap this up. You're out of here. Simple like that. No, not that way. Go home. Make sure you can go home. There you go. Learn how to say no. Take it easy. Do something that you said. Heather. Learn how to say yes. Sylvia? Stay healthy. Make sure your bags are packed. Sagan. Give credit where credit's due.
Be positive.
Be positive. Nathan. Don't have a bucket list. There you go. Why should you restrict yourself to a bucket list? Have fun. One more. Have fun. I'll take yours. Don't worry, the boys will turn out okay. Except the other parents are saying, my daughters are staying away from those boys. Here's what most people said when asked this question. Spend more time on the important things, which is exactly what you're telling me now. Those things that you listed are important to you. But my question to you is, are you living up to that? Are you having fun? Are you staying healthy? Are you not sweating the small stuff? Have you learned to say no? Have you learned to say yes? Are you? Are you spending time focusing on the big important things, the golf balls, the pebbles? Or are you filling your life with the sand? You notice back on that list, nobody said club politics, infighting, any of that stuff. Nothing on there was negative. Problem is, the small stuff is generally always negative, and we get dragged into it. So we need to figure out how to avoid that. And this is how we're going to do that. On your seats, or on most of them, I think the room filled up a little bit more since this morning, there is a sheet of paper. And it's listed in 3 separate columns. I want you to look at the first column right now. And I want you to create a list, we'll just take a couple minutes to do this, of what you consider important, your priorities. But I don't want you to order it just yet. Just put anything that you feel is your priority. You can turn the lights on, yeah, that's fine. I really just wanted them to see the small lettering on that list that had 1,000 items on it so they could see it. You'll be able to take this sheet home with you, can fill it out afterwards. Just trying to give you a chance to think about a couple things here. I'm going to show you what some people have listed as their important items. They may or may not be the same ones that you put down. So family and friends, health, fitness, making use of talents, personal growth, etc., etc. Again, varied importance may not necessarily apply to you. Like, if I don't have family, family's not important to me. It's not going to be one of my priority lists. But for people who have family, family will be important, or may be important. I'm not going to say will. Maybe you don't like your family. I don't know. It happens. Wealth and savings, security, these are all things that people consider important. Okay. Everyone got a couple items down on the list if you wanted to? We'll move on to the next piece of this. Okay. So the next thing I want you to do is I want you to rank those items on your list, whether they are essential, which would be your golf balls, whether they are the nice-to-haves. Now, nice-to-haves are, it's important to me, but I can do without it in the right situations. So those would be your pebbles. And then the non-essential items, the sand, the things that, you know what, it's on my list, I don't know why it's important to me, but it shouldn't be. Am I going to spend my whole day worrying about what I'm going to have for dinner tonight? Is that really important? No, not really. But some people will do that. And that's how they get muddied up. Okay? So has everyone had a chance to evaluate the list, do one or two that they've had? Okay. Now I want you to reflect. Look at those items. Look at your scores against them, your rankings, and reflect on how you're living your life. Are you really making those the important or non-important that they're on there? So if it's essential, are you really living your life and making that essential? Or, if it comes up, it comes up. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I'm just not living it the way I think I should be. If someone was looking at your life from outside, if a private detective was looking at your life, would they say, this person focused on family, this person focused on their health? Or would they say, this person focused on getting the most comic books they could in their life? What would somebody say? Is this list accurate? How many of you have an accurate list or see that there's ways you can improve upon it? Eva, I know yours is 100% perfect. No, it's not? It's pretty good though, all right? Yeah. So take this list, continue to look at it, continue to look at the things that you think are important, and rank them and see if you're living your life that way. Let me give you an example. Here's a list that I put together. So The importance to me are family, health, drag racing, and more money than Scrooge McDuck. And I rank them as family's essential, health essential. Drag racing's nice to have. It's important to me, but I could live without it if I had to. And more money than Scrooge McDuck is not essential. I may have more dust in my wallet than Scrooge McDuck, but not more money. And then I go down and I reflect on this. Am I living my life in a way that aligns with these important goals, these priorities? Family, yeah, I think I tend to dedicate a lot of my time to my family and make sure they're well taken care of. So I would say, yeah, I've put family where I need to. Health, maybe not. I don't exercise as often as I should. I probably don't eat as well as I should. So maybe health is not, I'm not focusing on it the way I should. And maybe I need to look at that again and say, what do I need to do to change my life to get myself more in line with what I consider my priority to be? Drag racing, nice to have. Yeah, I live that life. If I don't go racing, it doesn't bother me. I just put a cover over the car and take the battery out of it. If I can go, I go. I'm not going to sacrifice my family to go racing. So that one I know I'm in alignment with. And I'm definitely living the non-essential Scrooge McDuck philosophy of it. So that's, although it's a funny with the Scrooge McDuck, that's an actual way that I would rank my life, my priorities, and whether I'm living it the way I should, or whether I'm filling it with the non-essentials. Here's the thing about these lists. It's not a one-time list. You have to go back and reevaluate it. Your life changes. Your careers change. If you're using this for Toastmasters, your Toastmasters journey may change. Is achieving DTM important to you? Or is it a nice to have? Is developing a better communication skill and leadership skills more important than achieving that designation? Are you fulfilling your need that way? There's going to be times in your life when you're going to sit back and have to redo this list. In 2009, I would have said, yes, didn't have, so that didn't apply, never applied. And I would have been more in alignment with this list. That would have been in April of 2009. April of 2009. In May of 2009, I was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. That list changes dramatically after that announcement, after the surgery, after the chemo and radiation. That list changes. This becomes number 1, that becomes number 2. That doesn't even exist on this list anymore. Getting home, waking up every day, that becomes important. Since then, this list changed again. You can't set it once. You got to change it as times change, as your life changes, as your needs change. At some point in time, career is good and career is important. You're going to retire. Is career going to be important on that list anymore? No. Money will be more important now because you're retired and you want to make sure you have enough of it to get through the rest of your days. So the list is going to change. Ladies and gentlemen, only you can determine what's important to you. I can't. I would strongly, strongly, strongly encourage you to use this list when you get a moment. Write it out, and then take a look. And then I would challenge you to give it to somebody who you know very well, and have them look at it and tell you if you're living your life that way. Because you may think you are, and you may not be. But an honest answer will come. Make the changes, make the adjustments that you need to get in alignment with what you think your priorities are. Keep your eyes on the golf balls and your toes in the sand. Any questions? Madam District Governor, I turn it over to you.
Just don't go away. I am actually glad that Richard was bold enough to share his experience as far as stage 4 cancer. And I avoided, and I had the liberty of really looking at and doing a more personalized, as a friend, introduction. But even as a friend, you certainly don't step on things, because there's certain things you really never know if somebody wants to really reveal. But I have to tell you, as far as the incredible strength that he had, because he was in these higher positions while he was doing this. And the fact that he still had the fortitude to continue on that journey, because this might have been something that was so important to him, but the important thing is he didn't let anybody down, you know. And sometimes I think the ability to want to serve and help and do others kind of helps the strength and the healing process to take care of the things that need to be taken care of, because we need more people like Richard Peck. We need the people who will stand there, will help and give us the 5 Bs, will help us and remind us to be able to put our priorities in the right order. Because especially in Toastmasters, when you're trying to develop yourself and to help those people around you, at the end of the day, we have to remember we're all volunteers. We don't have to be doing this. The person that's helping you do something in your club, or the friend across all the people within Toastmasters, they're all volunteers. And what we are motivated by is that complete trust, that support, and just feeling valued. And I think Richard demonstrated very nicely about how much he values Toastmasters, how much he values us as a district, to be able to, by doing those things and maintaining that strength and status and forging through and putting his own personal weaknesses at the moment behind him. I mean, I think that I can't tell you how going to hospitals and we worry about, and eat. This is the first time I saw him eat, and he only revealed he ate because it would have been embarrassing to sit up at the dais and not have any food in front of him. I don't know how he lives, but I know why he's so skinny. But I think it's a pure honor that he chose District 53 to do his final round. I mean, I think he has other districts, but he wanted to honor us with one of the most important times in our conference is when we have our elections and stuff, so that he gives the honor back to us to install those new officers for District 53. Richard will never forget where his home is, and for that I would like to recognize Richard. I put it over here so it wouldn't break. But I can order them. Now I need glasses. It's tough getting old. District 53 Spring Conference, Back to School 101. And he showed us the basics in Back to School, because it is about basics. It's focusing on the important things. On Saturday, May 9th, 2015, Richard Peck, Distinguished Toastmaster, International Director, I might add, past District Governor, a keynote speaker, as well as an education person to all of us all the time, an appreciation for your continued leadership and service to our district.
Thank you very much. Thank Glenn.
Wait, you have to get a picture.
Yep. Where are we at? Where's our picture at? Let's get out here in the front where there's nothing in the way.
I always look at Steve is our person.
I thought it was Don. I thought comedy was over. I want to thank you all for the honor and privilege of being able to be here today, and the real opportunity to give 2 sessions. Usually we're not that lucky. Usually it's one and done, essentially, is the way it goes, because you're more important than I am. You really are. I've lived my philosophy that way. My members are more important. Their time is more important than I am. I'm here to help you be successful at what you do, though. On your seats, most of them, I left business cards. That's my personal contact information. If you want me to come speak at a club, you have questions, you need anything, that door is always open. You can always reach me. Bet will attest to that. We've done this for years, so feel free to contact me if you need anything. Again, I applaud all of you. Thank you very much for your time.